Hey guys, and welcome to the off ramp. I am your host, Thomas Jason Anderson. Hey, big day today, big day. I've got the Canes gear on because my Canes are going to be playing in a national championship game here. So we're starting the party now. We're going all the way through. By the time the game comes in, we're going to be delirious. It's going to be like the coach for the Canes says, it's going to be an asylum up in there. I've seen people already, it's crazy. The entire media world has made it so that, the University of Miami Hurricanes cannot win. It's impossible to win. Indiana's going to win. They're the unbeatable team. Oh, it's the perfect setup for us. That's all I have to say. So yeah, we're going to be very motivated here, my team, and I think we're going to be fine. So I'm already ready, as you can see in the gear already. With that said, I've noticed a lot of people lately have been asking me some questions about the possibility of different sanctions on people in certain places in Venezuela and Guyana, other places around the world. And I wanted to, and there's just a lot of rumors out there right now. That this morning there was a rumor that someone got banned from coming to the United States, some police officer in Guyana or something. It's a rumor. The best thing you should do is you should probably look for yourself. You can actually go online to the United States Treasury Department's OFAC page, and on there you can just put in the nation of Guyana, and you can see everyone who's sanctioned on there. Right. So I'll show you guys. You can come here uh, to the screen here, and as you can see, this is the sanctions list search that I have on the screen here. And with this, you can search by the person's name, the entity's name, however you want. I just put Guyana in, right here. And then you get the results. So you can see Mark Cromwell, and it tells you, the person's address, what type of sanctions it is, and then the type of program that they're under. So Cromwell is under the illicit drugs, and then they give the number. That's the executive order 14059. So this is a president. It may not have been Trump. Any president actually could have uh, issued an executive order related to illicit drugs, and under that executive order, we're allowed to sanction individuals. And this guy, Mark Cromwell, fell underneath the executive order 14059, and that's why he's being sanctioned. And then you've got Paul Davy Jr., also illicit drugs, EO 14059. Randolph Duncan, illicit drugs, EO 14059. And you have Empresa Cubana de Aviación. This is a Cuban entity that's on sanctions in Guyana. Then you have Hattie's World, Azzuddin Mohammed, Nazar Mohammed, Muhammad's Enterprise. All of them, as you can see, some are entities, two are individuals. Um, you've got GLOMAG. So what that stands for is the Global Magnitsky Act. And what that's about are individuals who get involved in trying to overtake a government in a country illicitly, whether they do it through smuggling or whatever. In this case, you can click on the link for each name and you can see what it is that they're specifically on there for. But this is the Global Magnitsky Act. And if people want to know about what's Magnitsky, well, he was the attorney for a billionaire named Bill Browder, and Bill Browder had found a way to basically get the majority shares of stock in Gazprom through different maneuvers. And Putin and those guys got really angry, and his attorney, they ended up hitting them with like tax charges and other things. His attorney, who represented him in Russia, ended up being jailed, tortured, and killed. And so they named and the Congress created a law that puts people on sanctions who do things like what happened to Mr. Magnitsky, the attorney representing his client. And so there's a whole list of people who've been put on that, mostly Russian oligarchs, but other individuals have over time as the program has expanded. And that's where the Mohammeds have been put. And then you can see uh, Yasan Andres Sanchez Vallejo, Vallejo, he's illicit drugs. 14059, Himnoth Saw, illicit drugs. Team Muhammad's Racing, Glomag. May Toussaint Thomas, Glomag. Like I said again, that's Global Magnitsky Act. So you guys can come here and you can see it's you can I'll show you where I found it, where I started out from. I just did a Google search of OFAC. And the second thing that popped up is the list. And as you can see, I'm just going to the country and I'll go down. And you can go to any country. So I'll do Guyana, but you can do let's do Canada. Let's just try Canada. You hit search and then look, this is what you get. Okay. Look at this. A lot, a lot, a lot. It's a lot going on here. And if you look at the programs that they're hit under for Canadians, man, you have a lot of Cuba things here. There's a lot of Cuba stuff going on, illicit drugs. So that's what you got there, right? And you can do any country you want. So that's what you guys need to do if you're curious as to sanctions. If you see rumors going around that, hey, this individual is sanctioned or that individual is sanctioned, well, you can check for yourself. Just Google OFAC and just click on the link that says OFAC sanction search. Just click on this and you can search by country, you can search by individual, you can search all types of ways, and you can see for yourself. Is it true that so and so got sanctioned? Well, you can find out right there on the OFAC sanctions. That's OFAC. Now there are other sanctions. The State Department can revoke a visa, and that's a different database and whatnot. But mainly, you want to look at the OFAC sanctions. Those are the main ones. Those are the big ones. Yes, the State Department will do certain things like revoke a visa, but you really want to look at the sanctions part, especially now in that part of the world. So, yeah, so now that we got that cut knocked out of the way, and you guys can see for yourselves who's on sanctions and who isn't. Um, let's move on to what's happening next door in Venezuela. And for everyone in the United States who's watching, yeah, there's a lot going on down there. And it seems like it's chaotic. It is chaotic. And the reason why it's chaotic is because it's been chaotic. This isn't a situation where Trump came in with our military and turned a peaceful, organized situation into something chaotic. No, this has already been chaos in the region. It's already been out of control. It's already been on the edge of war as it is. So, yes, there's even more chaos now. But the thing that worries me a little bit about, the American side of things and how we view the region down there is I don't know if we have a really good appreciation for how the region works and how, because of how volatile the politics have been over the years and over the generations, that people get involved in black magic and voodoo and obeah, santeria. But on top of that, they get involved in secret societies. And this isn't like poor people doing magic spells. No, this is the elite in many of the nations in the region and abroad who, when they come into this region, they start dabbling in this stuff, secret societies, because if you don't, you end up, being hurt because the region is very volatile and no one can be trusted. Okay. And no secrets can be kept. And so that's why people are always forming these secret societies. And in order for the Trump administration to understand really how to deal in this fear of the world, I think they have to get much better at understanding how these secret society groups work, understanding that they're embedded within high levels of government all throughout the region. And these groups have been around for decades, generations, and they're very powerful. Okay. So, one of the things that people aren't realizing about the entire situation in Venezuela and the region there is that when you hear about smuggling, and for example, there are these ghost fleets, tanker fleets that are ghost fleet ships. And what they mean by that is these are ships that they take on almost any flag. They're privately owned, even though at the end of the day, they're state controlled, right? So Russia has a bunch, the Iranians have a bunch, and these shadow fleets go around the world with oil and sometimes other stuff, right? And so one of the good examples is, and this is why. So when you see the Trump administration creating a blockade and preventing ships from leaving and sending the oil places around the world, one of the reasons why they're doing that is because of this shadow fleet. Because what's happening here isn't like above board. It's not normal oil trading. It's not normal business. A lot of this stuff is happening below the surface. It's illicit trade. It's illegal trade. It's smuggling. And all of that stuff is going towards creating instability, not only for us here in our region and for everyone watching right now, but for people around the world, because you just never know where this smuggle stuff is going. And this has become a serious problem because we're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. In my opinion, there are entire regimes, government regimes, nowhere near Venezuela or Guyana or the Caribbean, that without the smuggling coming out of this region, they wouldn't be able to survive. Regimes in the Middle East, regimes in Europe, all right? Like, that's how much is being smuggled out of there. And so a good example of this is this Bella-1 ship. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but I'll pull it up here. So Bella-1 was this shadow fleet tanker, and as you can see from the Wall Street Journal here, Russia sends submarine to escort tanker the U.S. tried to seize off of Venezuela. Okay, now it says in here that the tanker was empty. Okay, um, the tanker, formerly known as Bella-1, has been trying to evade the U.S. blockade of sanctioned oil tankers near Venezuela for more than 2 weeks. The vessel failed to dock in Venezuela and load with oil. Although the ship is empty, the U.S. Coast Guard has pursued it into the Atlantic in a bid to crack down on a fleet of tankers that ferry illicit oil around the world, including black market oil sold by Russia. Okay, so why were we chasing down an empty ship, this rusty old empty boat that had nothing in it? Well, maybe there was something in it, because here's the thing. The Russians sent a submarine. So here's the question. Why would the Russians send a submarine and other Navy assets to protect a ghost fleet ship that's empty? That's strange. And why would we continue to chase it and then we actually get it? We get on board and we take this ship that's supposed to be an empty boat. And so maybe it wasn't so empty. And here where we get the answer could be here. Here's this individual. His name is Marcial uh, Cucurella, I guess is the best way to pronounce his name. He says here the Bella-1 vessel seized by the USCG DEA contained contraband hidden in its structure. 1.5 tons of gold from the Arco Minero, cash in euros, and electric guidance components for drones were found. Okay. Now, this is just on X. This isn't coming from a major news station. It's not coming from uh this isn't coming from a major news outlet. This isn't coming from the US government. This is coming from one individual on X. And he's very confident and he gives great details on it. And so when I see that, I say to myself, well, you know, why is this person so focused on something so specific as an empty boat that had nothing in it? Right? Clearly, this guy has an interest. And I said, well, who is he? So let's take a look. When I looked at who he was, I was surprised. So here's who he is, right? He's a Spanish businessman and he's the founder of 7NN Television. Okay. So he's a media guy. So here's a media guy, and he's putting out before the US government does that we found gold, 1.5 tons of gold, euros, drone, uh, drone material, right? So this guy isn't a nobody guy. And so then I asked myself, okay, so since he's not a nobody, he's in the media space, he's a businessman, He's an investor, an international investor. What more can we see? Well, you can look down here. He's been involved in some controversies. You can look at his career, right? Take a look at this. In 2014, he was identified by the testimony of witnesses during a trial as a leading figure in Spain of the Mexican far right cult El Yunque. Okay. So here we have a guy who's in the media space, who's in Spain, but he's dead set focused on this Venezuelan ghost ship that was supposed to be empty. And according to witnesses, he's a member of the Mexican far right cult El Yunque. So that tells me that the El Yunque group, that these guys are paying attention, that they are very much focused on what's happening in Venezuela. But not only that, but they're paying attention to what's happening to these ships. And not only that, but they're getting inside information that other people aren't getting. So they're in there. So who is this El Yunque group? Right? Let's see. El Yunque, here's their symbol. Okay, they've been around for 73 years. Secret society. Look at that. They supported Vicente Fox in Mexico. Let's see what they. And then in Spain, you can see in 2012 they got into Spain. So this is some type of elite group. It's a secret society group. One of their key leaders, according to witnesses, is putting out on X exactly what's happened to Bella-1, and that inside of that thing was 1.5 tons of gold from Venezuela, euros, and electronic guidance components for drones. Okay, so what this sounds like is someone was sending to Venezuela, all right, 1.5 tons of gold, drone components, and euros, I guess, in exchange for, because the ship never docked to get oil. So I guess they were putting that in exchange for oil to be loaded on the boat. Right. And so when the boat went back, I guess to give the gold back to whoever owns it, we went and snatched it. And for some reason, this El Yunque group, who has a prominent member, according to witnesses, is on top of this and they're paying attention to it. Now, the reason why this is important is because the El Yunque group, its goal is to rule everything from Mexico all the way down through the northern part of South America, the whole thing. They want to rule the whole thing. That's what they're all about. The anvil. All right. So when you've got an ultra Catholic, anti communist, anti Semitic, anti liberal, and with fascistic traits group focused in on Bella, the Bella boat, right? And figuring out before the rest of the world that there was contraband on that thing and there was gold. So the question, so it says to me, maybe they know who is the true owner of the gold, who that's really coming from. Who knows who it's coming from, by the way? It could be coming from Russia, but think about it. It probably is coming from Russia because Russia sends a submarine. And so that's another wrinkle here that's a problem. So we have a situation here where the Russian military is being influenced by individuals to use submarines and military vessels to go and recoup gold and cash and drone components, guidance components that some wealthy individual in Russia owned. They have the ability to get the Russian military involved in this. So that's where we're at now. So when I was saying yesterday, and I've said before, that we're in this comply or die world government atmosphere, this is another point of that. This is another point of what I'm saying. Because all of our government institutions, whether people are paying attention or not, they have literally melted away. Our governments aren't functioning right. And it's so bad that in places like Russia, you have private individuals now able to order submarines and navy vessels to go recoup their gold and guns and weapons and money that they were exchanging for oil down in Venezuela. Okay. So when you've got individuals with the power to command an entire nation's military, all the way down to commanding submarines, a nation with nuclear weapons, is everyone seeing what I'm saying now? How bad of a situation we're in now, where on the other side of it, the people with the best intel are the secret society guys. Now, I'm not saying that secret society guys are bad guys. I'm just saying that when they're in a secret society, their secrets override everything else. Okay. And this is I'll show you a pretty good example of it, right? You can see here. Um, Here's an article about these guys. Okay. And it's in they make it clear in these cases that have been that have gone on with this group El Yunque, that they run an organization that supersedes any government, any country they're in. This is so you guys can see. This is the I'm sorry. My So as you can see, witnesses reveal the identities of members of secret sect El Yunque in court, right? So here's the individual here with his X account that we were just looking at. You see? See? That's him. And it says here, look, this is a witness that said, and here's a quote from her: "My husband acknowledged that his activities were secret and illegal. That's why he demanded secrecy from me and said I was obligated to lie. I've had to lie to his parents, his brother, and my parents. He invoked mental reservation, claiming that since people don't have the right to know who is behind El Yunque, and we pursue an end, which is for Christ to reign on earth, we are authorized to lie." Okay, so this gives you everyone an idea. El Yunque, and once again, I'm going to show you. Here we are. This is the gentleman here. Here's his account, and here's him telling us before anyone else in the world knew that on that vessel, that vessel was not empty. It had gold, it had cash, it had electronic guiding components for drones. Okay. So, so basically, this entire thing, we're in that zone now in the region where you've got secret societies, you've got total chaos, you've got oligarchs and private individuals commanding entire submarines. And this is all to fight over empty ships that are supposed to be empty, that happen to have other stuff on them. So this is a really tricky situation. This is a crazy situation down in that region, but it's not a crazy situation that Trump or this administration created. This is a crazy situation that's been getting crazier by the day for a long time, for decades. This has been through many presidents, all the way back to before, all the way back to Nixon, back to Kennedy, actually. I can point all the way back to Kennedy, where things started to go sideways, and they've continued to go sideways ever since. And now we're seeing it now, where in order to have a region there that makes any kind of sense, people have to start dealing with the secret society guys. So if I were some type of investor and I were thinking, hey, if I want to invest in Venezuela or Guyana or somewhere in the region, who would I want to connect with? Well, I can tell you now, this guy here, his businesses, yeah, this is what he says: "You turn into a ghost, save, hustle, invest, disappear." He's the CEO and founder of Concilia Strategy, geopolitical and finance. Okay, man, like this guy is on top of it. I would probably, if I were looking to invest and know some things, I'd probably want to talk to this guy. Secret societies, people think they're so bad or whatever. I guess they are bad in some people's eyes, but not all guys, not all people within them are bad. And a lot of times you can benefit. And if you're on the American side of things, they need to start figuring out who the secret society guys are, what are they really up to, what are they about, What buttons are they pushing? Who on the other side with the Russians and the Chinese are the individuals in those countries who are influencing and pushing things, who are getting submarines involved in private transactions. This is crazy stuff. But that's where this is. And so this is a huge mountain that the Trump administration has to climb. And not just them, the entire region has to climb this mountain because for everyone to be good there, this has to be a team effort. I know people look at Trump and they look at the wild stuff here happening in the United States and they go, "Oh, God, this guy's racist. You can't get anything done." No, I won't say that. I think being in a position to work with the United States is probably going to work out better than most people can imagine. I believe, just my opinion. I'm going to continue to say I think Marco Rubio should be president of Cuba because I think that's an imperative. That's an important piece in the region, and he would do an excellent job. But that's we're in a new paradigm now. I know for some people it sounds weird. What is this guy talking about? Well, we have to start talking about these things because we're in a new world now. When guys like Maduro are getting nabbed in the middle of the night, we're in a new world. And we all need to get ready for that, adjust for that, and be in a place where we mentally understand what's going on here. So that's the point of this, guys. We are in a crazy situation. It's totally out of control. It's every man for himself right now. You've got secret society guys getting information that no one else has, posting it online for people to see. You've got Russian oligarchs who are using their influence to get submarines used to help them get back their gold and components and stuff. I mean, this is wild stuff. So that's where we're at now. I don't expect this to get, you know, organized in a way that makes a lot of sense anytime soon. But the quicker this administration and other people in the region start to get on board and understand that, hey, it's go time. It's time to start, creating what has never been imagined before in this region. It's that time now. That's why I get a little bit I'm a little bit tough on people like President Irfan Ali. Yeah, I am, or Vice President Jack Dale or anyone else in leadership in the region. Yeah, I'm a little tough, and it's not because I'm angry at anyone or I dislike anyone. It's just that there's a huge opportunity here. The world has changed, and if the people of the region don't take advantage of this opportunity, if their leaders don't have the vision to take advantage of this opportunity, then many, many people are going to fall to the wayside through poverty and all types of other situations. You could see a very sad situation in the region. So it's not about Trump. This is not about any one individual. This is a team effort. This is about systems. And right now, all of our systems are really hurting right now because we've got these secret society guys, we've got cults, we've got all of our institutions and our ideologies melting away. A lot of it is due to technology. But with that said, we've got a open road ahead of us where we can build and build well. And I think that's the point, right? So with that said, guys, we'll be back again for some more, but I hope this was a little bit informative. I hope you guys can get a better understanding of what's really happening in the region, how complicated it really is, and so that you don't chase after this story or that story. There's a lot going on here, and there's going to be a lot of disinformation coming out. Keep coming back to the off ramp. I'll try my best to keep us all on a good footing here where we can move forward and have a much better understanding of the craziness that we will be seeing coming out of the region there. But with that said, not there is a lot of hope there. I think there's just so much potential here, even though it seems so crazy. There is the potential. We just need the leaders in place right now that are in place to step up and get the job done, and then we'll be good. And we need everyone to realize that this is complicated down in there. That yeah, man, people are using voodoo and obeah, and yeah, there's all kinds of secret societies and crazy things going on in the jungles and stuff. Yeah, that's what's up. If you don't realize that and operate accordingly, you will fail in this region. You have to understand these things. So hopefully this opens a new door to everybody who doesn't know. And for those of you who do know what I'm saying, yes, you're welcome. I'm speaking up for you right now. With that in mind, guys, have a great day. Love you all. Take care. Talk soon.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that, yeah, change will make it better. There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing, so I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think. Yeah. You